Preparing yourself for a basketball season is a year-round process. From April through July, your training should be of moderate intensity, and you should aim to perfect your technique in areas such as acceleration, top speed, lateral movement, and overall body rhythm. This can be accomplished by focusing on an individual Speed City product for 3 to 4 weeks, and then switching to a new product for 3 to 4 weeks. When you hit the months of August and September, it's time to kick your training into high gear. This is when you use Speed City's SAQ Attack training routine. This 3-day-a-week, 6-week routine will be the most intense training cycle of the entire year and will address every skill you need to succeed as a basketball player. Each workout begins with a 10-minute dynamic warm-up routine designed to raise the body's core temperature in preparation for the upcoming workout. The exercises used are also designed to target basic movement technique, as well as balance, rhythm, and body control. The warm-up routine is demonstrated in the dynamic warm-up section of this video. Monday's routine targets acceleration. The goal of Monday workouts is to develop blazing straightaway speed, like that used when cutting to the hoop, chasing down loose balls, and running full court breaks. Primary equipment used includes the quick-foot ladder and the Viper. Wednesday's workouts target jumping skills. Most of the exercises on this day will involve weighted or resisted jumps and throws. Jumping skills are critical to basketball players for all of the obvious reasons, and because they directly influence the athlete's ability to explode out of a stop position and to quickly accelerate into a sprint. Primary equipment used on Wednesdays includes the quick-foot ladder, the Viper, and Jelly Pulse. Friday's workouts target lateral speed and change of direction skills. These workouts tend to be a lot of fun because they involve several games where athletes compete against one another. Primary equipment used includes the quick-foot ladder, the Sidewinder, the Viper, and breakaway belts. Each workout during the week ends with a short cool-down segment. This portion of the workout is geared to target the core muscles in the stomach and lower back, and general flexibility through static partner stretching. Before you get started on the SAQ Attack routine, there are a few other important points to cover. First, the SAQ Attack routine is not an easy routine. Athletes must possess a solid conditioning base before starting this routine and should not use SAQ Attack as a means to get themselves in shape. Second, this routine is designed to get progressively harder from week to week, and each workout builds on the last. Thus, it is extremely important that athletes not miss workouts. Finally, there are 2 golden rules to follow when performing the SAQ Attack routine. Number 1, every repetition must be perfect. Sloppy training habits will only result in sloppy performances during a game. Number 2, once perfection is achieved, each repetition must be performed at full speed. Athletes don't get fast by training slow, so everything must be kept in high gear. By following these guidelines and completing all 18 workouts in the SAQ Attack routine, an athlete will experience significant gains in speed, agility, and quickness. The Viper is an outstanding training aid, but it is also one that requires athletes and coaches to practice certain safety precautions at all times. First, under no circumstances is the Viper designed for horseplay. Many of the drills conducted with the Viper involve stretching the 8-foot flexicord. The tension that is placed on the Viper's flexicord is capable of numerous unique training benefits, but it is also capable of causing injury if misused. Coaches and athletes using the Viper must understand that they are engaged in serious training and not casual play. Second, the Viper's flexicord is 8 feet long and is designed to be stretched to a maximum distance of 20 feet. Overstretching the flexicord could cause the flexicord to rupture or could cause components of the belt or handle attachment to break due to excess force. To avoid unintentional overstretching, cones marking the maximum stretch limit should be used at all times. It should be noted that some Viper drills cover more than 20 feet. But in such circumstances, the anchor athlete is moving with the athlete being trained so that separation is never more than 20 feet. The Viper's flex cord is designed to be attached to the padded Viper waist belt and/or the Viper handle strap. No other devices should be used to secure either end of the flex cord. When attaching the flex cord to the waist belt, only one end of the flex cord should be attached to any of the individual metal rings at one time. Both ends of the flex cord may be secured to separate metal rings at the same time, but not to the same metal ring at one time. Athletes and coaches should inspect the attachment points on the waist belt before each use for signs of wear or damage. If either is discovered, the belt should not be used. When only one end of the flex cord is attached to the Viper's waist belt, the other end must be secured to the Viper's attachment handle. This handle may be wrapped around a sturdy stationary object like a goalpost, worn around the waist of a second athlete, or held in the hand of a second athlete. When this third method is used, the athlete should insert his or her hand through the handle's loop and then firmly grasp the strap. Athletes wearing the Viper's waist belt must be conscious of how they connect the front buckle. The male end of the buckle should be inserted straight into the female end so that both teeth on the male end click into place. If the athlete does not connect the buckle properly, only one of the teeth will click into place and may cause the buckle to come unfastened during use. Finally, like all Speed City products, the Viper comes with a 1-year warranty. However, proper care may extend the useful life of the product. It is recommended that the entire Viper product be cleaned free of all dirt and debris after each workout and stored in a climate-controlled environment away from harsh sunlight. Following these simple guidelines will help ensure that you get the most out of training with your new Viper from Speed City. The first exercise you will perform is called ankle flips. Here you will keep a straight line from your heels to the top of your head. Your knees stay locked, and the only thing that touches the ground is the ball of your foot. A slight forward lean and a quick flick of the ankle are all that propel you forward. Lateral ankle flips are designed to train athletes to keep their body weight on the front of their foot and off their heel. This exercise also conditions athletes to maintain a proper base for lateral movements. When performing lateral ankle flips, the athlete will begin in a position where their feet are slightly wider than shoulder width apart and their knees are locked. The athlete will laterally push off their trail foot to initiate the movement and will alternately bounce off their left and right feet while maintaining the original separation between the feet. When performing shin grabs, you will maintain an upright posture, grab your shin, and pull it deep into your chest. You will pause at the top of the motion for a split second before proceeding to the next step. As with most all of the dynamic flexibility exercises shown in this section, athletes should imagine they are performing this exercise on a balance beam and should aim to move in a perfectly straight line. Russian walks target hamstring flexibility. The goal is to keep your legs straight at all times while alternately touching your opposite hand to your opposite toe in front of your body. As you become more comfortable with this motion, you can turn it into a skip as shown here. Over and under the fence is an exercise designed to loosen the hips and groin for lateral movement and change of direction speed. This exercise is performed by first stepping laterally over an imaginary fence with both legs, and then sliding under another imaginary fence. Notice that the athlete's feet never cross, and that they are stepping as high over and sliding as low under the fence as possible. The backwards open hip skip focuses on rhythm and further loosens the hips and groin. Here you will lift your thigh parallel to the ground in front of your body. Then rotate it open as you step backwards. As you step backwards, you should imagine that you are stepping over a small hurdle. As with all exercises on this video, you should keep all of your weight on the front of your foot and keep your heels off the ground. When performing the lunge and twist, you will step forward with your right leg and sink down until your opposite knee comes within about an inch of the ground. As you lunge into this position, you will rotate your left elbow towards your right knee. This is an unstable position requiring strength, flexibility, and balance. From this position, you will step with your left leg all the way from the trail position to the lunge position out front. This should all be done in one step. Do not take any additional steps in between. Frankenstein runs teach athletes to accelerate while using a slight forward lean. This is accomplished by having the athletes simply extend their arms straight out in front of their body as they sprint. This positioning transfers the athlete's center of gravity forward. The athletes should concentrate on keeping their hands still and level with their eyes. The first 4 exercises involve the use of the quick-foot ladder. You will begin by performing one-foot runs. This simply involves running through the ladder and placing one foot in each hole. The key is to keep the upper and lower body in sync with one another. As the right foot steps forward, the right elbow fires backwards, and vice versa. It is of utmost importance to perfectly place each of your steps as you move through the ladder. Perfection is the number 1 goal, with speed being the number 2 goal. Exercises on the quick-foot ladder can also be performed while holding hand weights or while being resisted by the Viper. Both of these techniques serve to increase the level of difficulty of the drill. Pay attention to the daily workouts in your training manual, as these techniques will be used as you progress over the 6-week training period. The next exercise is performed just the same as the last, except that both feet are placed in each hole. This requires shorter, quicker motions and more body control. You will notice that our athletes are keeping their upper and lower bodies in rhythm, and that the ladder remains in its original position as they move through. Break runs combine the motions of one-foot runs and 2-foot runs. Again, the key is to maintain perfect rhythm between the upper and lower body during the runs. Break runs are performed by using one-foot runs for the first half of the ladder, and then quickly and smoothly shifting to the motions of 2-foot runs for the second half. The final exercise you will perform on the quick-foot ladder is called the Icky Shuffle. This drill focuses solely on rhythm and rapid-fire foot contacts. The Icky Shuffle involves placing both feet inside the ladder and one foot on either side. While it is possible to generate blistering speed on this exercise, you must be patient enough to learn the correct foot patterns before you step on the gas. Tag sprints allow athletes to compete in a game of acceleration. Position one athlete in a 2-point stance and the second athlete seated about 5 yards in front of you. At the clap of a hand, both athletes will sprint towards the finish line about 10 yards away. The lead athlete must make it across the finish line before being tagged by the trail athlete. The starting positions of the athletes should be adjusted to compensate for the differences in speed. An ideal tag sprint should be decided right at the finish line, so increased spacing is necessary. Ball drops is a drill that challenges an athlete's acceleration skills and gets their competitive juices flowing. Position an athlete on the starting line and a second athlete approach 2 to 3 yards away facing the athlete. The coach will hold the tennis ball in either hand, extended to both sides of his body and even with his ears. The athlete will ready himself and look the coach directly in the eyes. The coach will then drop one of the balls. Out of his peripheral vision, the athlete must react to the ball that was dropped, accelerate towards it, and hit it before it hits the ground a second time. The difficulty of this drill can be increased by adjusting the spacing between the athlete and the coach, or by changing the starting position of the athlete. Try having the athlete start from a lateral stance, a backward stance, or a push-up position. Let goes are similar to running hand weight drops, except that your entire body is resisted instead of just your upper body. When performing this exercise, you will use your padded Viper waist belt and a handle attachment. You will start in a 3-point stance and perform a full-speed sprint for the given distance. You will use a coach or training partner to resist your sprint for the first half. At the halfway point of the sprint, your partner will release the handle and allow you to sprint unimpeded for the second half. At the point of release, you should experience a tremendous increase in speed. When performing linear W sprints, you will need cones, a viper, and a training partner. The cones will be configured in a zigzag pattern as shown here and as diagrammed in your SAQ Attack training manual. The athlete will alternately backpedal against the resistance of the Viper's flexicord and then sprint forward using the assistance of the flexicord. The athlete should keep his center of gravity low to the ground and aim to change direction at each cone as quickly as possible. The goal is for the athlete to demonstrate precise body control as he or she quickly transitions between resisted backwards movement and assisted forward movement. Learning to perform under such conditions will ultimately produce an athlete with superior movement skills. The first 4 exercises you will perform on power days will involve quick hopping motions on the quick-foot ladder. The first exercise is called hopscotch and is performed by placing both feet in the first hole and then hopping forward to the second hole and placing feet outside the ladder on either side. This motion is then repeated for the full length of the ladder. The idea is to stay low and quick while keeping all the body's weight on the front of the foot. Many exercises on the quick-foot ladder can also be performed backwards or while being resisted by the Viper. Both techniques serve to increase the level of difficulty of the drill. Pay attention to the daily workouts in your training manual, as these techniques will be used as you progress over the 6-week training period. When performing straddle hops, you will place one foot in the first hole and one foot outside the first hole. Your feet should be slightly wider than shoulder width apart. In a quick hopping motion, you will move to the second hole and reverse the position of your feet. The goal is to maintain a wide base position and to minimize the time spent on the ground. Straddle hops are a perfect example of a quick-foot ladder drill that can be performed backwards or with the resistance of a Viper. Another quick-foot ladder drill that will prepare you for a power day workout is jump cuts. Start by placing both feet in the first hole and then hopping out beside the second hole. This pattern is repeated for the full length of the ladder. As you perform this exercise, concentrate on keeping your feet together and having them strike the ground at the exact same time. Keep a slight bend in your knees and your weight on the front of your feet to achieve maximum speeds. The final exercise you will perform on the quick-foot ladder is called the crazy climber. This exercise is excellent for loosening your hips and torso, as well as for developing smooth total body rhythm. Notice that our athletes are keeping their weight on the front of their feet and quickly popping off the ground with each contact. For an illustration of the crazy climber's foot pattern, refer to your SAQ Attack basketball training manual. One of the most simple and effective exercises for developing the explosive power necessary for sprinting is frog leaps. Frog leaps simply involve performing a given number of leaps over a maximum distance. Notice that the time on the ground is minimized and that the athlete picks up momentum with each jump. It is helpful to mark the landing point of the final jump so you have a goal to beat with each successive set. To increase the difficulty of this exercise, you will use a training partner and the Viper to resist your leaps. Notice that the training partner should slowly move with you as you leap, thus providing you with a constant amount of resistance, as well as preventing the Viper's flexicord from becoming dangerously overstretched. To help build explosive single-leg power, you will perform bounding. Like frog leaps, bounding involves performing a given number of bounds over a maximum distance. With each bound, you will power off the ground with one leg, glide in the air as long as possible, and then land on the opposite leg. During the 6-week training program, you will also use the Viper to perform resisted bounds. Russian leaps is a resisted jumping exercise that will help you develop an explosive start from a stationary position. This exercise is conducted by having a training partner anchor the Viper's flexicord to the ground with their foot. As you are resisted towards the ground, you will perform a quick set of jumps for maximum height. As soon as you complete the resisted jumps, you will immediately remove the Viper belt and perform an equal number of free jumps. Russian skips are set up the same way as Russian leaps, but rather than performing resisted jumps, you will be performing resisted skips. Each skip should be quick and precise and should be powerful enough that you can completely separate from the ground with each explosive push. After you have performed the required number of resisted skips, you will remove the Viper's belt and perform a free sprint. One of the best exercises for developing the total body power needed for a great vertical leap is the caber toss. This exercise is performed using a weighted ball. The one in this demonstration weighs 6 pounds. You will start with the ball extended above your head and your feet slightly wider than shoulder width. You will let the weight of the ball swing down and back until it pulls you into the crouched, loaded position. At the moment the ball reaches the bottom of the swing, you will immediately hit the ignition switch, actively reverse the motion of the ball, and launch it directly above your head. The goal is to throw the ball straight in the air as high as possible. As soon as the ball hits the ground, you will catch it, reload, and throw again. The heave and retrieve exercise combines an explosive throw with a quick sprint. For this drill, you will again use a weighted ball. You will place the ball directly under your chin and begin in a coiled crouch position. You will initiate the throw by forcefully leaping forward and simultaneously bench pressing the ball off your chest. As soon as your feet return to the ground, you will sprint after the ball, reload, and perform the rest of your throws. Not only is this drill great for developing explosive speed, but it is also a great conditioning exercise. You will notice that it is typically placed towards the end of your workouts. That is because it is likely to burn up any remaining gas you may have in your tank. The reverse caber toss is a combination of the caber toss and the heave and retrieve drills. The athlete will go through the exact same motions used in the caber toss, except that at the point of release, the athlete will continue to thrust his hips forward, arch his back, and throw the ball as high and as far backwards as possible. After the ball has been released, the athlete will then take a quick drop step, turn towards the ball, and sprint after it. The lateral run is much like the 2-foot runs performed on the linear workout days, except that the athlete is moving sideways. The front foot always steps in front, and the back foot always trails. Since this drill involves a lateral motion, athletes must be sure to perform equal repetitions to both the right and the left. Like with other ladder drills, it is important to start the foot pattern slow and then gradually increase the speed. The buzzsaw is a great exercise for lateral and change of direction speed. The pattern of this drill has the athlete step into the first hole of the ladder with his lead foot, and then step into the same square with his trail foot. The athlete then quickly steps back out with his lead foot and then in with the trail foot. The athlete moves laterally and repeats the pattern in the next hole. Because this is an exercise that involves lateral movement, equal repetitions must be performed to both the left and the right. The double-step Icky shuffle is performed the same way as the regular Icky shuffle from the linear speed day workouts, except for one variation. You will begin by stepping laterally into the ladder with both feet. Then rather than stepping out to the side with only one foot, you will step out with both feet. Refer to your SAQ Attack training manual for a diagram of the foot pattern used for this drill. When performing the trail whip on the quick foot ladder, one foot will always stay inside the ladder, while the other will always stay outside the ladder. The foot that stays outside will trail behind the athlete and alternately whip from side to side. The athlete should keep his weight on his front foot and allow his hips to swivel as his trail foot whips from left to right. There are virtually an unlimited number of broken ladder drills that can be performed. All such drills involve some variation of unsnapping your ladders in the middle to form two half ladders and then spacing them out by 5 to 10 yards. Athletes will perform one firing pattern through the first ladder segment and then sprint to the next segment and immediately begin another firing pattern. One variation we like to use is to place two cones on either side of the gap between the ladders. Not only are the athletes given two firing patterns to perform, but they are also instructed which cone to sprint around in between. As you know, being able to remember and follow assignments while you are tired is a vital component of a successful basketball team. The hurdle maze trains athletes to be quick by combining multi-directional hopping with short sprints. This drill is set up by clustering your mini or micro hurdles into groups of 3 to 5 hurdles. A distance of 5 to 10 yards should separate each cluster. Athletes will hop through the hurdles with both feet and will face forwards at all times. As soon as they have hopped through the final hurdle in a cluster, they will sprint to the next cluster and repeat. Every version of the breakaway chase drill involves connecting two athletes with a breakaway belt and one athlete chasing the other through a marked pathway. It is the job of the lead athlete to break the Velcro connection by outmaneuvering the trail athlete through the pathway. The trail athlete wins the game if he can stay close enough to keep the Velcro connected throughout the duration of the sprint. The pathway that you mark for the athletes can be a series of zigzag gaits, a circle, a figure eight, or any other patterns you may choose to create. Lateral movement is critical to success on the defensive end of the court. Here we have placed a sidewinder around our athlete's ankles and have set up a W pattern with a series of cones. The goal is for our athlete to slide through the cones as quickly as possible while maintaining proper lateral slide mechanics. When performing a lateral motion, the athlete's feet should always be slightly wider than shoulder width apart. If you observe the feet coming inside the shoulders, or even worse, knocking together, then the athlete's mechanics must be corrected. By maintaining a proper base, the athlete will be able to push himself forward with his trail leg, pull himself forward with his lead leg, and will be capable of quickly redirecting to his left or right at any time. Athletes that master this technique will experience immediate success in defending opponents in one-on-one situations. The sandwich drill is set up by placing an athlete between two cones spaced about 5 yards apart. The athlete will either use a sidewinder around his ankles or a viper around his waist with the flexi cord stretched out to his left or right. A coach or training partner is then positioned with 10 to 12 tennis balls a few yards in front of the athlete. The coach will toss the tennis balls into space between two cones. It is the job of the athlete to use proper lateral slide mechanics to prevent any of the balls from getting past him. The athlete should aim to knock each ball down by using both hands to ensure maximum lateral movement. Stabs may be performed forwards or backwards and focus on first step positioning and quickness. Regardless of what direction they are being performed in, stabs involve the use of a sidewinder and alternating 45-degree steps. In this example, our athlete opens his hips and steps backwards at a 45-degree angle with his left foot. The step should be quick and explosive. The athlete then pivots on his left foot, opens his hips in the other direction, and performs the same motion with his right foot. The motions of this drill are designed to mimic the initial steps an athlete takes when defending against another player. When performing lateral let-goes, you will use your padded viper waist belt and the handle attachment. The athlete will move laterally against resistance provided by a coach or a training partner. At a designated spot, the partner will let go of the athlete. The athlete must react to the release and immediately transition into a linear sprint. As the athlete slides laterally, the back leg is used to push the athlete forward, and the front leg is used to pull the athlete forward. Notice that the athlete's feet never cross, and that an athletic flat back position is always maintained. Lateral W sprints are set up similar to the linear W sprints demonstrated earlier. In this drill, the athlete will run in a zigzag pattern while experiencing quick contrast between resistance and assistance. The athlete should accelerate as quickly as possible in between cones and should aim to change direction at each cone by taking a minimum number of steps. As the athlete reaches a cone, he will drop his hips and change direction by making one hard plant. Active rest is a concept we like to employ in our workouts. This means that instead of having athletes stand around and rest in between sets, we ask them to perform some sort of low-intensity exercise while they are catching their breath. Our favorite form of active rest includes any number of balancing exercises on our agility disc. After an athlete finishes a set on an exercise, he then stands on a pair of agility discs and tries to balance where the rims of the disc do not touch the ground. This constant battle to control body while fatigued is excellent preparation for game-like conditions. Variations of this exercise include having the athlete constantly adjust from an upright to a squatting position while on disc, or repeatedly jumping onto the disc, balancing, and then jumping off. Active rest drills such as these should be used only when your athletes become comfortable with the basic training techniques and have developed a solid endurance base. At the end of all of your workouts, you will go through a short period of cooling down. During this period, you will address the areas of core strength and flexibility. Core strength will target muscles in your stomach and your lower back. These muscles play a major role in any motions that require total body explosion. The flexibility section is placed last in your workout because this is when your body is completely warmed up and loose and most receptive to gains in flexibility. The first exercise you may choose to perform for your core strength is the dead horse crunch. This exercise targets your abdominal muscles. You simply lie on your back, extend your arms and legs straight up in the air, and reach up to your toes. The dead horse crunch can be performed in sets of 25 to 100 repetitions. To increase the difficulty of this exercise, you may choose to hold a weighted ball. Catapult throws also address the abdominal muscles, but in a much more explosive manner. This exercise is performed with a partner and a weighted ball. The ball being used in this exercise is 6 pounds. You will begin by holding the ball above your head and keeping your arms in a locked position. As you go through the motions of a sit-up, you will release the ball at the top of the sit-up and throw it at your partner's head. He will catch the ball and toss it back just above your head as you return to the bottom of the sit-up. We recommend doing catapult throws in sets of 10 to 25 repetitions. Performing leg throws is another great way to target abdominal strength. As you lay on your back, brace yourself by holding your partner's ankles. Keep your legs locked and raise them straight up in the air. Your partner will grab your ankles and forcefully throw them to the ground. After you allow your partner to throw your legs, your job is to stop them before they hit the ground. As you become more proficient with this exercise, you may have your partner throw your legs randomly to the middle, left, and right, as shown here. Equally important as having strong, explosive abdominal muscles is having a strong, explosive lower back. One exercise we use to target this area is the seal catch. When performing this exercise, you will lie face down with your partner kneeling about 3 feet in front of you with a weighted ball. As your partner tosses the ball just above your head, you will use the muscles in your lower back to raise up, catch the ball, and immediately toss it back to your partner. Seal catches can be performed in sets of 6 to 12 repetitions. After you have strengthened your lower back by performing seal catches, you will proceed to seal throws. Seal throws again involve the use of a weighted ball. Lay flat on your stomach, hold the ball in front of your head, and throw the ball as high and as far behind you as possible without bending your arms. Your upper body and feet will leave the ground during the throw, and the muscles in your lower back will quickly contract to execute the throw. Seal throws are ideally performed in sets of 6 to 8 repetitions. Because of the stress it places on the lower back, it is best to use a light ball when learning this movement. To end each workout, you will perform 5 to 8 minutes of stretching. An excellent way to enhance post-workout stretching is to perform the 4 partner stretches we will demonstrate here. The idea is to take advantage of the natural looseness your body experiences at the end of workouts by using a coach or training partner to push you through a wider range of motions than you are capable of performing on your own. In all of the partner stretches, you will lie on your back. First, your partner will place your foot on his chest and push your knee towards your chin. As soon as you have reached your comfortable limit, you will say stop, and your partner will hold this position for 10 seconds. In the next stretch, you will extend your legs straight up in the air and lock your knee. Your partner will stretch your hamstring by pushing back on your leg. Again, you must say stop when you reach your maximum stretch position. You must communicate when you reach your limit so your partner does not unintentionally overstretch you. After holding stretch number 2 for 10 seconds, your partner will then push your knee towards your armpit. Your thigh should end up roughly parallel to the ground, and your lower leg should end up roughly perpendicular to the ground. As with other partner stretches, you should relax and allow your body to stretch through a full range of motion. In the final stretch, you will rotate your leg across your body. Your partner will press down on your thigh while holding your opposite shoulder to the ground. You'll find it is helpful to exhale all of your breath while performing this stretch. By properly stretching at the end of each workout, you will prevent soreness and potential injury, as well as increase flexibility, thus increasing movement speeds. In this video, we have demonstrated all the drills you will use with your basketball players to develop explosive team speed. In the SAQ Attack basketball training manual, you will find a detailed plan for a 3-day-a-week, 6-week training routine. The manual provides you with photos, charts, and court setup diagrams for each of your daily workouts, and further information on each of the drills you have seen in this video. If you carefully implement this training system with your team, you will create an army of fast, explosive players capable of wreaking havoc on your opponents with every move on the court. Good luck with your training, and please contact Speed City if we can be of further assistance to you.